You tune in to another exciting edition of Sister Sister, the final edition of Sister Sister in the month of September. My name is AJ Akwago, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to the show. This show is the one that allows you get up close and personal with some of the issues that some people might be going through, maybe even someone you know. So basically on Sister Sister, we allow you send in whatever issue that you may be going through, and me and an incredible group of sisters will go through the issues and give you the best and most candid advice we can possibly give, and hopefully that allows you be able to navigate whatever situation you may be going through in the best possible way. Of course, this show is proudly brought to you by Kel Kids Toothpaste, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign, and a very big thank you to Flory Roberts for our lovely makeup. Of course, you can get interactive with using the hashtag #SisterSister, and as well, tweet at me at AJSarpong. When I come back, I'll be speaking to my sisters and as well, getting to know all the stories that we've been sent to us over the week, and of course, getting straight into it. Don't go anywhere. This is Sister Sister. You're tuning in to Sister Sister right here on Citi TV and as well live on 97.3 Citi FM. We're live from Life Mate Furniture located in North Industrial Area. Of course, proudly brought to you by Kel Kids Toothpaste, by Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, and as well by Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign. And finally, a very big thank you to Flory Roberts for coming on board as our official makeup person. We'd love to see it. And of course, incredible products from Flory Roberts. Now, it's a pleasure to always welcome and introduce my sisters. And I will start this time from the one closest to me. She's always lovely. The official lady of the house, ladies and gentlemen, is Olivia.
Hi.
How are you doing? You look lovely as per usual.
Thank you.
It's good to see you. How's your week been?
Likewise. Crazy, busy, hectic, but I'm alive, I'm well, I'm good. I can't complain. Some people are dead, but I'm alive. So thank you, Jesus.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Yeah. And of course, moving on to the very next, she's a lovely lady in red and white. Resident theatre actress in movies, everything else, and the one who's running for her co-wife. Running for your wife. Hi, teacher. How are you?
Hi, AJ. I'm very well, thank you.
It's good to see you.
Same here.
Looking lovely in red.
Thank you.
All white. Red and white.
As you are.
Oh, well, I learn from you. I learn from you. And finally, last but certainly not the least, the always vivacious, the lovely Felicia. Hi, Felicia.
Hi.
How are you doing? You look lovely.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
You look lovely too. I love your outfit.
Hey, come on. You like it? But ladies, I hope you've had a great week and you're ready to get into the story.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now let's get into the story, shall we? And this one says, hello, sisters. My name is Audrey. I'm in a relationship with this person whom I really love. But my problem with her is her interactions. She can be on the phone for a long time, and when I ask her about it, she says she's talking to her elder sister. She goes to this elder sister's house to cook for her sister and her husband, as if her sister can't cook for her own husband. Recently, she went to her sister's house to cook, and the following day, her sister's husband called her and asked her to come over to their house to do the same thing. Anytime I speak about it, it becomes a conversation, and she says that she will stop when she gets married. So one day, I couldn't take it anymore and I told her off, but she doesn't seem to see the problem. Am I seeing this as too much of a problem? Is it okay for her to constantly be going to her sister's home to cook? Please help me. What should I do? Ding, ding, ding. This man assumes that there might be more than her just going to her sister's place to cook. Is he being paranoid? Is he on the money? Sicho, what do you think?
You know, I think when you're in a relationship, there should be a certain sense of compromise. There could be certain things you'd be doing before you meet someone and decide to fall in love and be in a relationship with that person, which you cannot continually do once you're in a relationship with someone. And I think she is crossing those lines.
You think so?
Yes. It's when somebody is uncomfortable with something, there has to be a fine compromise. And I think even in this case, one, why is your sister not cooking for her husband? Why are you the one going to her house to cook for her? Why? Don't you have a life of your own?
Well.
Also, when you're with someone and they find these things uncomfortable and they complain about it, why aren't you willing to do something about it? Why do you want to wait until you're married before you do something about it? I think something is not right in that whole equation. And it's either she doesn't love this person and is not willing to compromise and make certain changes in her life to accommodate the person. Yeah,
well,
it doesn't make sense to me.
Now, looking at this story in the same way, it's family, first and foremost. It's not like she's in isolation going to cook in some random man's house, Olivia. She goes to her sister's home and cooks for her. Maybe she's a really good cook, so nobody else can replicate her soups or her stews. So the husband is so obsessed with her cooking that he asks
sister's husband, you mean?
Yes, he asks his wife very sweetly, darling, I know Sicho's your sister, but can Sicho come over and cook for us? And then her sister says, of course, Sicho's fried rice and chicken is the best fried rice and chicken I've ever tasted. So let Sicho come and cook for us. That's family.
Yeah, but at which point in time is she also going to have a life of her own?
Exactly.
And it's sad that is it his girlfriend or his wife? This Sicho, his girlfriend.
Yes.
So it's sad that Sicho isn't probably going to be watching this program because there's some people who naturally don't know how to say no. And they were brought up in such a way that when my older sister says this, I have no right to disobey. I must oblige just because my big sister says this, and probably my big sister's wife says that. My big sister's husband is also demanding this of me. So if I say no, then I'm going against what we believe as family.
Right.
But she also... You need to find a way to talk to her to make her understand that it's okay for her to say no. She cannot be cooking every single day. I don't mind her if she decides to cook once a week for them. The question is, can she sustain it? She is also going to grow up to have a life of her own, to have a family of her own. When you give birth and you have a month-old baby, is she going to leave her family and go and cook because... And once life hits her and things become tough, is her big sister going to understand that she doesn't have the time? So she needs to look at the bigger picture. Is this sustainable? How is it also going to affect her? And for me, the fact that her boyfriend mentioned it to her and she thinks that there's nothing wrong with it worries me a little bit because sometimes you need to see you need to look at things differently. You need to compromise just because it's no longer you, but your relationship also has somebody else in it, and that person's feelings need to be also considered. I'm not saying that once you're in a relationship, immediately your boyfriend or your partner says, you know, jump high, you ask them how high and you be jumping and you do every single thing, but he's uncomfortable about it. So what's the compromise? What compromise can you make? How can you meet your partner halfway? And I feel that because she constantly is availing herself, her family would never appreciate the transportation, the going, the coming. It's not easy to cook. Even me, when I stand to cook, I say, because of the nature of what I do is so busy, I decide, okay, I'm going to make beans stew, I'm going to do palava sauce, I'm going to do I take a Saturday, kill it, put it in and store it. By the time I'm done, I am so tired. So it's not easy. Maybe that's also her love language. But you see, family will always be there. Depending on family would always be there. You don't choose family. Blood is blood. Do you see what I mean? But sometimes some family members can be extremely unreasonable, and it's okay to say no because something has got to give. What about you? What about your happiness? What about what makes you happy? Does she have any purpose in life? Is she going to dedicate all her time to constantly ensure that she's making her family happy? So she needs to sit down to ask herself these pertinent questions and find a way. Trust me, like I said, when a baby comes in and you do have a family, your husband will demand your time. Your husband needs you to be cooking and lovey-dovey and spending time and talking with him. If you're constantly, even at home, she's not even there because she's constantly on the phone with her family. That's just not right. That's a bit off, if you ask me. We all love to help family. We all want to be there for friends and family. But that's why the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself, not more than you love yourself. Because once you go over and beyond to the extent that it sort of worries you as an individual, then it's it's not right. So again, like I'm saying, have a conversation with her. But if you feel that it's something that bugs you, and no matter what you do, the situation is not going to change, and it will affect you long term, I think it's a deal breaker for you. You speak to her once, you speak to her twice, you get somebody who she respects to listen to, and you get that person to also talk to her, and if she still doesn't see reason and it worries you that much,
then you have to make a very hard decision.
I don't even understand why she's constantly on her phone while you're with someone. I noticed that when you respect someone and you're in their presence, you don't want to be on your phone that much.
That's true.
This lady lacks respect for him. And
maybe she's not even into him.
He has
like
every
that.
reason to be worried, even the cooking bit.
Now, is infidelity something that he could be considering? I mean, clearly he feels that there's something else going on. Why are you so friendly with your sister's husband? Why are you going there to cook? Are you the only person able to cook? Does he perhaps have some fears that a lot more might be going on in that house than just cooking? Felicia?
All right, thank you. So I know my sisters have said a lot, and there are a few things that they brought up, but my view is, personally, I don't see anything wrong with what is happening. First of all, this is your girlfriend, not your wife. And you have no idea what this elder sister might be doing or does for this girl, or might have done for this girl, that she feels responsible, or she feels like that's her way to give back to her sister, indebted to her sister. Like, we are in Ghana, let's consider our culture. This is not a little sister, her big sister. See how we see our sisters. I live with my sister, and I've been living with my sister for the past 5 years, I must say. And I see her going to the extreme for me, even after I'm married. Because even with me and my boyfriend, if I'm not available and my boyfriend comes around, she cooks for him. She sends a message, Boo passed by and I cooked. So I'm sure if I find myself in a situation where I can't cook in my matrimonial home, I'm not saying she will do it. It's
But
something that will easily come to her to do it. Now let's talk about relationships. It could be this elder sister dated the husband for quite some time before they settled. So this girl is used or fond of this man. They are just friends.
Okay.
Have we considered that? They're just fond of each other. She went to cook the day before. Maybe she just felt like, oh, maybe we need you to do something else, or come and check out something in the house. It might not have anything to do with cooking, because it didn't state that, the story didn't say that he called her back to come and cook. He just called her back. For instance, maybe they watch football together. Or they do. No, I don't like football, but I know friends who like watching football with other gentlemen. So if my friend says, so I enjoy watching football with your boyfriend, and once in a while, sis, don't create situations that do not exist for yourself. So you see signs. From everything I heard from this time, there was no sign. My sister is my best friend. So she's usually the first person I'll get on phone with to call, like to tell something. Like, I'm almost always on phone. We talk about work. We talk about my relationship. We talk about my health. And I always have something to say about work. So if I wake up every day on phone with my sister, I don't see anything wrong with it. Yes, I get the part where Citi says this girl is not being respectful of the relationship or of the environment she's in. But boy, you are her boyfriend. And she's told you that when I marry, I will stop. That shows that this is just temporary. Yes, she's not married. But you know, people change, AJ. People change.
But that's the thing. We assume people change. But if they've shown you characteristics before you marry them, why are you assuming that they'll change once you marry them?
You need to trust people. You need to trust your partner. She didn't disrespect you when you approached them.
They also need to give you reason to trust them.
She gave you her word. You need to take that word. Let's not create stories beyond the story that already exists. I'm doing something. I go to my sister's house to cook. You've complained. I tell you, boo, don't worry. Be worry a big jai. Take me for my word. If you can't, then you have an issue. I wasn't rude. I didn't disagree with what you said. I didn't fight you back.
But he has an issue with it, so why can't you stop it now?
Exactly.
Maybe that is his way of knowing that you will stop it when you marry.
So let me go back to my first point of Ghanaian culture. We all have ways we were brought up. Some people are brought up to be so inclined to their family that it takes a lot to wean them of them. So I feel like instead of complaining, you should devise ways and means to wean her off. It won't happen overnight. You can't tell her, Mama, stop going to your sister's house to cook. You can recommend her reducing the frequency. Or why don't you bring the food stuff to the house to cook? I can actually help you to cook. Then we take it to them. These are nice ways of weaning people off or trying to nurture them to suit the way you live. I know people are very close to their family. It won't happen overnight.
Oh, true.
They'll even see you to be against them. And once again, you are just a boyfriend. Anything will happen. Me, when it comes to boyfriend issues, it's a whole different ball game. These people will wake up the next minute and tell you I'm no longer doing it. So after winning me off my sister, you wake up next month to tell me that it's over. After I made all that sacrifice for you, maybe cooking is my passion. I love to cook.
So let me open a restaurant for you then.
Please, I want to cook for my sister. You need to find a way to be comfortable with it. And I've promised you, I've given you my word. When we get married, I will stop. And that is the ultimate goal here, getting married.
Okay, so are we saying that if somebody is a spendthrift or is disrespectful, and they tell you that, when we marry, I'll stop. You should take their word for it.
This behavior is something that affects your partner directly. Because
this is also affecting him directly. That's why he's complaining.
He wants to spend more time with you.
Exactly.
You're consistently on your phone with
you
your sister.
house to cook together. Don't come and tell me you spend more time. First of all, you are not married to me, so I'm not even living in your house. Which shouldn't be. I shouldn't be staying in your house.
This is how a lot of people lose out on maybe marriages and other things, because sometimes even things like work have brought a separation between people who are in a relationship, because you are probably not willing to compromise on the hours you work, etc. Some people have been raised to want to work and they've become workaholics, let's put it that way. And so when they are in a relationship, they don't even know how to demarcate time for work, knowing that, okay, now I'm in a relationship, I need to make time for this person I'm in a relationship with and make time for work. They focus on work. Oh, my work is what feeds me, my work is what brings me joy, my work is not going to leave me. They have all kinds of excuses. And some of them end up...
Yes, exactly, true. Today, they will replace you in your workplace. I can't replace my sister. Let me tell you.
Understandable.
This is an issue to do with family.
I think whatever relationship you find yourself in, it's all about compromise. As far as I'm concerned, whether it's friendship, relationship, even family. Your family, even your family must
marry, I will stop.
And that is the compromise. But he wants you to stop before you get married.
There's no guarantee in this relationship thing.
What leads to marriage?
Relationship certificates here.
Okay.
There's no relationship. You can't win me off my sister. And in this case, my big sister,
Felicia,
you don't know what she's done for me, sis. This one, I'm not listening to anybody. This is a situation of boyfriend, girlfriend. There's no relationship certificate. We only have marriage certificate.
What exactly changes between two people who are in a relationship? Apart from moving in together.
Compromises to want to now start a relationship.
I said when we marry,
I
will stop.
Can I make a point?
Can I make a point?
Yes, you can. In life, things need to be balanced all the time.
Exactly.
There needs to be a fine balance. You need to appreciate people. You need to respect people. I understand that she loves her siblings. And like I rightfully said, in some cultures, because she's a firstborn and she gives a command, she needs to oblige. So we understand that aspect of our lives here in Ghana and in certain parts of the world. But she's in a relationship now.
Thank you.
Before the relationship progresses into marriage, what is it called? It's called a courtship period.
But
it's called boyfriend, girlfriend, however it is you want to look at it.
He didn't say my fiancé.
But even if hold on, Felicia, hold on. Even if they met a month ago, even if they met 2 weeks ago, right? The people need time to get to know each other, to get to understand their temperaments, what they do, what they like, what they don't. So in his quest to find out more about her, he's studying her. He's realized that she's overly obliged to her family.
Yeah.
So if it's a relationship that's heading somewhere, you cannot completely rule it out and say, yo, my guy, you cannot come between me and my family, because at the end of the day, it's two families coming together. Everybody grew up differently. He's probably coming from a home whereby he can tell his family his mind. Yo, Charlie, I know if they do for you. I can't do it for you. Like, find somebody to do it. And she's coming from a family whereby you can't say no. So that is why we are all coming together. Okay, at least from my perspective, I feel like create an opportunity to dialogue and to compromise. You love your sister to bits. I'm not saying don't cook for her. I'm not saying don't talk to her. I'm just saying manage it in such a way that...
He wasn't talking about management. He was talking about her putting an end to that.
That's why I'm saying that. That is why this show is here. So if he's listening, you cannot tell her to stop completely. You need to dialogue with her. You need to have a conversation with her to find out why she's doing that, why she's completely committed in that fashion or in that manner. Hear her out. Hear what she has to say before you come and lord your ideas on her. If you don't dialogue, you will never see your way forward. Hear what she has to say. What she tells you, then you can tell her exactly where you're also coming from, how you feel, and then you can come to a compromise. Okay, I don't want to stop you from cooking for your family since it means a lot to you. So how often can you cook for them? Because I also need to spend time with you to be able to get to know you. At the end of the day, it's all about balance. It's all about communication and compromise. So if that common ground is not had, you cannot be throwing commands at her left, right, and center. Speak to her.
Now, bringing to a point that Felicia made earlier on, could it be that he is? Because you usually see that the beginning of sometimes abusive relationships, and not to be so extreme, but the fact that some of the first few points of the beginning of such a relationship is trying to distance you from your family members. Now, isn't it a red flag, quote unquote, for him to want to be so adamant about her going to cook at her sister and her sister's husband plate, and even looking to see if there's something nefarious going on underneath the surface?
To play the devil's advocate on that, I think he's not complaining about you seeing your sister or spending time. I think he's complaining about the fact that it's being overly done. If you are with me and you are constantly on your phone with your sister, any human being will complain. I don't know any man who would say, "Oh, it's okay, let's just sit here. You be on your sister the entire time. Be on the phone with your sister the entire time."
In a welcoming environment, I doubt being on the phone with your sister will be that. Will be this day and age. You can go out with some people and then be
are very into their phone so much that they would ignore you throughout the whole
sometimes they don't even realize they are doing it.
They've
done it to the point where it's become second nature. They don't realize they are doing it.
So before you know it, they have been on the phone for an hour, and then everyone else having a conversation, and they're lost.
Exactly. So at which point in time do you actually pause to consider that other person in your life?
Actually, I get where you
so
sisters are coming from.
I will not rule it out. I will continue hammering on it. It's important.
I think I would say there should be compromise on both sides.
Exactly.
If you are looking to stay with this lady, you should also kind of start looking into the kind of family she comes from. I would go with her one of these days to cook, just to understand the dynamics, how the kind of relationship she has with her sister and the sister's husband. Then you can even know how to react to it, or you can you can manage your reaction. Because then you can't just get up and say, and with calling your sister every day on phone, it's a bit of and disrespectful, as you mentioned. That is disrespectful, but I don't think the lady is completely wrong, and I feel the man is a bit overreacting here, but there should be compromise on both sides. So my take will be, relax, take it easy. You are not going to change this girl overnight, because she's been with her family all her life, and this is her elder sister, so literally all her life. So have a conversation. Ophelia said, have a conversation. Follow her one of these days too. You can also ask her to bring the groceries to the house to cook. So that she takes it afterwards, so that she doesn't have to spend so much time in the house. And it could be the sister can't cook. So this is a way to save the sister's marriage.
Okay, you were doing good until you said that. How you no, listen. So you see, at which point in time,
she's going to be cooking for her sister.
When she gets married,
Felicia,
she
no,
will stop.
Felicia, no.
She should hire a line of this
hire a cook.
Yeah.
Because I think that in this day and age, if you're someone who has a lot to do, cooking should not be something that you should spend your entirety on. If you know your schedule is long, hire a cook.
Yeah.
When things,
she can't afford to hire a cook.
but you can afford to let your sister go and cook for you all the time.
At the expense of a marriage, at the expense of a relationship. Don't you think her older sister is also being a bit insensitive towards her sister? There has to be a compromise.
Has her sister even asked for once that, how is your boyfriend taking all this? That you constantly come here, or we are constantly on the phone? Because sometimes when you're on the phone with someone and they know somebody is by you, somebody who is very mindful will say, I don't want to be here. Yes, let me leave you. I'll call later when you're alone. A very mindful person will say that. It's only people who don't care. They will continue going on and on and on. If I tell you I'm in my boyfriend's house and we are chatting for 30 minutes, at some point you say, maybe go and focus.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then when you're in a relationship, right, and somebody does something and you notice, like, how do I even put it? Like, whatever they do, once it affects you emotionally, once it gets your attention, once it gives you the creeps inside, once you start asking questions, then it's definitely a matter that has to be spoken about. If it was like once in a while or something, you probably wouldn't notice. But once it seems as though she's overly doing it to the extent that he can't deal, and he's spoken to her. He's spoken to her, and she can't be bothered. Why would he bring it on the show?
Exactly.
Well, ladies, and of course, you tuned in. I would love to hear your thoughts as well. Use the hashtag Sisters and let us know what you think about this particular story. Is the man being paranoid? Is our lady, like our sister said, being unreasonable? Should there be compromise on both sides? And how they progress with the relationship? Let us know. Hashtag Sisters. So tweet at me at AJ Sarpong. When I come back, we'll be getting into our second story for this evening. And of course, getting to go through some of your comments as well. Don't go anywhere. Sister continues right after this. You tune in to Sister Live on Citi FM and as well on Citi TV, on DSTV channel 363 and Go TV channel 182. Of course, we're proudly brought to you by Kel Kids Toothpaste, Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign, and as well Onga Mama's Helping Hand as well. Very big thank you to Flory Roberts for giving us the most beautiful face beat with the most incredible products. We're live from Life Made Furniture as well. And getting back into the stories for today, of course, my sisters here with me are Olivia, the lovely Sicho, and of course, Felicia. And we're going through our second story for today. Now, ladies, are we ready? Yes. Gang. Sisters, help me. I met my ex-boyfriend in 2018 and we started dating. I didn't hide the fact that I am an heir from him. We started plans for marriage and did various family introductions. When we were deliberating the date of the ceremony, he came to me and said his family adamantly refused to accept me because of my tribe. In the end, he broke up with me, telling me he was giving his family the benefit of the doubt. AJ, this is someone who was well aware that his family may not have liked Ellis, but chose to date me anyways. Fast forward to 2022, I learned he's getting married, and to my biggest surprise, he's married an Ewe. I feel so hurt that I'm even contemplating revenge against him. I want to ask him the actual reason why he broke up with me and why he lied about it. I need that closure to move on. How do I go about it? Sisters, please help me out with this dilemma. Thank you.
As an Ewe, can I?
Please, as an Ewe, lead the charge. Is revenge something she should be considering?
No.
Why not?
You see, here's the thing. I think we all as women should come of age with regards to some of these things men do. When a man doesn't love you, he will go any length, make any excuse, say anything to get you out of the way.
Now, why consider marriage and fool her into thinking that you're going to marry her?
Well, some people are heartless like that, and we need to live with it. We need to learn to live with some of these things. It's hard, it's difficult, but she doesn't need any closure whatsoever from this guy. She just has to move on and continue living her life. If she doesn't want you, he doesn't want you, and he's going to marry someone else who is an Ewe, that's his loss. That's his loss. I think it's unfortunate men, especially maybe he's not Ghanaian, but it's unfortunate most men do some of these things and think it's funny. But I feel life just has a way of coming back to bite all of us eventually. Yeah. So he should just leave him. She doesn't need any closure from him. What's he going to say? What can he possibly say to make things okay?
Just let her understand that and maybe apologize. Sometimes an apology can do a lot to soothe the soul, because you're like, why will you do that to me? And especially going to let me see your family members, plan for wedding dates, and then you tell me that you can't marry me.
He's not worth it.
Yeah,
he's not worth your fat, he's not worth your spit, he's not worth anything. Because if he respected you and appreciated you for who you are and who you were, he would never have done that to you. Once you engage him, you're giving him undue attention. Because his mind is already made up, he's already married. You do that and then what? Does it change the situation? Does it make him love you? He could literally throw the apology in your face and he wouldn't mean it. So he apologizes to you, and then does it take away the hurt and pain you feel inside? No, it doesn't. I think that it's a very bitter pill to swallow, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through it. But moving forward, use that as how do we say it in Tree? Like, I don't know how to explain it in English. It means like, let it be a lesson for you in your next relationship, and know that sex is not love. The fact that somebody tells you that they're going to marry you and are in the process doesn't guarantee jack. And if it makes you feel any better, let me share a story with you.
Please.
There was this classmate of mine, beautiful girl, fake girl, and everything. She's like, oh, no. She doesn't really believe in, premarital sex. She's going to do right by God, right by man. Met this other guy in uni. So this guy was like very strong too in church, campus church and stuff. So they started off the relationship. She still agreed, no premarital sex and everything till we get married. So they started off a relationship. So you know how relationship progresses. Hey, today is one kiss. Hey, tomorrow is this. Hey, tomorrow. Hey, God. Hey.
Then it gets closer.
Hey, hallelujah. Hey,
yes.
Hey, preach. Let's just say he ministered to her, he anointed her, and sacrificed everything all day inside. And he assured her that, oh, I will marry you. Oh, they went to Makola to go get suitcases, get the whole caboodle, like everything. He saw her family. So she was dead sure that this was going to happen, So yes, and then especially when it was looking serious, the families know each other. Then it was like, oh, we're there. So even if she let go, you are my husband, and because we believe in the same thing and we go to the same church, there's no way in heaven's name you will betray me. Guess what? Some other church member from the school campus, today she'll cook for him. And she was a nice girl, and she knew how to cook. She will cook, she will come and then pray for me. By the time we realized,
the man was praying.
Today the guy is married to this girl.
And he left the first girl.
After, I kid you not.
After tasting the forbidden apple.
Oh, Charlie, he tasted the inside and chewed the seed.
He massacred the apple.
Not even the stick inside the apple. No, everything.
He ate it all.
This girl was shattered. She was heartbroken. This is not just even, people in the world who don't really believe God, like they're not really strong Christians. This is Criff brother. It's like, ain't no way you're gonna do. Thank you. And he's not just a brother in church. It's like, he's solid, senior, praying for people and things happen. So she was shattered. So that is why I always say, as much as you can, right? Sex has a way of clouding people's judgments.
Yes.
It has a way of making people not think straight, because now it's not just sex. It's the whole, it's a beautiful intimacy that God has designed to be able to bring you together. When couples are having sex under the confines of marriage, trust me, angels and God rejoice. People think that is a sin, but every bit of it is beautiful. It's amazing. It's supposed to be enjoyed. Hallelujah. So as long as it's in the context of marriage, it's a beautiful thing. But when you do it out of it, then you overly complicate things, because it's not just sex. Soul ties, so many things. It's very difficult for you to detach. So that's why that's the reason why the Bible says, keep your body as the temple of God, so that it's holy. You don't open it up to all sorts of things. Hallelujah.
Amen.
So keep your knickers on, aka hashtag knickers on. Don't drop them knickers until you go on the altar and it's sanctified and it's allowed. That one you can do it in the hall, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, anywhere, anytime. Proximity, Charlie on point. And when you have it to no guilty conscience, no this, no that. Hey, is he going to marry me? Hey, what did I just do? Hey, no. Open the me. So, a word to the wife.
But please, I have a very honest question to ask. I can't relate, but there are some people that may have already dropped it. I haven't dropped mine before, but just in case. For those that have dropped it before, what should they do?
For those who have dropped it before, some people are actually lucky. Some people are actually lucky, whereby they genuinely find people who love them for who they are, and they are ready, they are responsible, they are loving and caring. Some men are just like that. They love you for who you are, and they will keep their word. So for ladies who are not in a relationship, who are about to get into one, and you probably have made this mistake, especially to this lady, next time you don't drop your knickers, because you don't know with what intention a man asks you out. You don't know with what. Some men, I know people who they will kiss the ground on which you walk and you would never know. So your only guarantee, your only peace of mind is, you didn't have anything. I don't have anything to lose. If you want to go, go. And I did that for the longest time. On me, when I was young, when you ask me out, I'll say yes. But me pure to color, what it looks like up and down, you will never see. Wow. So I used to dish guys all the time. Hey, I know myself. Am I not beautiful? I'm intelligent. I know who I am. Mako school. You can't come and use your 2x4 to say, oh, raw. Value added tax card, that's what it means, now by the time my husband is going to come, what is he going to
12.5%.
Me rock mouth. So it's about time. No, but it's about time. I believe that it's about time that young women start knowing their worth. But I know that maybe it's not as easy as I'm saying. I can understand, I can relate. But your worth, your dignity, your intimacy is all that you have.
Let's backtrack a bit. There are people who would even go to the extreme of marrying you just to be able to get what they want from you and go. Look, let's not forget that it takes the special grace of God to put people where they are, to give you that marriage you've been dreaming of for years. We all started life dreaming of certain marriages and all that. But sometimes men come in different shapes and forms.
Men will
stain your worth and keep you asking yourself, am I me? So if you are lucky to toe a certain path and get lucky and it going and ending well for you, hallelujah. But it does not mean that that is the only thing that is guaranteeing you of a simple and stress-free life. Some people actually cover their pants and all that and end up being married, and the men still, after getting what they want, even giving birth with you, will still leave you and go and marry someone else. Because I know a guy was telling me a story that his friend became a Jehovah's Witness. Just so he could,
and be with a woman.
Yes.
And marry the woman.
Yes.
I know
Just
somebody
because-
who
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
somebody who
So
decided
that
he
at the
would
end
be
of the
called
day-
Musa, and he decided to become Muslim
Yes.
just to marry the person.
Just to
After he
marry the
married
girl
the person,
and-
he divorced the person.
Because apparently the girl is like
That's a good point.
everybody's dream in the
They are not
neighborhood,
protected.
and the girl, everybody says this girl, you never go get her, and say me, I go get the girl.
He became
So
JW.
Yes.
And married her.
Yes.
Just to get her.
Yes.
Just for her knickers.
Yes.
Just you draws.
Yes.
Wow.
So
Not
I
just
always
that,
say that
Citi.
if you are lucky, never sit there and think, oh, it is because I did A, B, C, D. I did everything right by the book. I didn't take off my pants. I didn't do this. That's why I have. There are other people who also took up their pants for 9 years.
Oh.
And they are married today to pastors and they are living happily. So I always say it is grace.
Yeah.
It is grace. It is grace. Nothing but grace, AJ. Nothing.
Because there's some
That's
people that are does like, and you okay. There are a few examples I knew growing up in
another thing
school.
is, we all need to teach our children to have a tough heart.
No, with all what you are saying, you should identify your principle and stick to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will do that.
One thing that makes relationship a bit easier for me is I treat it as, let me put it this way, I handle it as being Christian.
Yeah.
So everything I do in the relationship is like, I'm being a responsible Christian. I'm doing what I'm being taught.
Yeah.
So in the long run, if I don't gain from it, I'm
exactly.
away.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is how I treat it.
Yeah.
And I try not to get too attached. Like, I'm not saying I won't love. Like, if you know me, you know I love with all my heart. I love with my everything. I'm all over my heart, my boy, whatever it is. But in everything I do, I have at the back of my head that I'm doing this as a Christian. Just in case this, will I do it for myself? Yes. If I'll do it for myself, I'll do it for him.
Yeah.
Will I do this for my neighbor? Yes. If I'll do it for my neighbor, I'll do it for him. If I can't, I won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't kill myself to do it because I'm expecting him to be married to me or to marry me. No, I'm doing it because genuinely I love you. And when I say love, it's unconditional love. I'll do it till I can't do it anymore. So whenever I pray for strength to be able to give till I can't give no more. And when I say I can't give no more, it doesn't mean I want to give up or I'm looking forward to giving up. Not being no more is maybe not being around or being ill. So if you approach relationship, personally I feel if you approach relationship with that kind of mindset,
Without
it
any
makes things a bit, so just stick to your principle. If I don't want to slay in bed with you, I won't. And you can't change my mind.
Yes.
If I want to, I'll do it from the bottom of my heart. But I have to tell myself, I have to tell my Felicia, if this doesn't work out, will you be able to move away and not feel any regret? This thing is just nonsense. Me, when I hear people start saying, bringing conditions, and you are aware, you are fan, even fancy struggle. We always make it like it's about always. I've heard men who say, "Oh, if you marry a fancy woman, you can't use your money for anything other than eating." Fancy women, when you marry them and they die, their family will some of the things you hear is now they have this thing called dadanchine. I'm told fancy women have. I didn't even know till someone told me dadanchine. When their men are cheating, they grind bottles and mix with salt. They put it in the food, the nice food we cook for the men. And kill them slowly. It's called dadanchine. So it's in the dining hall. When they kill salt, they're like, oh, don't touch it. That is for dada. Francis even instructs, so it's not even about always. If a man doesn't want you, like Citro said, he will find every excuse. But me, the only closure I'll tell her to have is, assume that he had cold feet. He saw you to be too good for him, and he had to find a flimsy excuse to run. And when he went, he wanted to prove to himself that I can truly marry Anewe. And he went for another marriage. So it's on him. He's struggling with he's struggling with the decisions he's made. He's struggling with his guilt. Let him live with it. If I were you, I'll even befriend him. Hi, how are you? How is your Ewe wife? I will remind you each day about the fact that you married an Ewe. Every time you call, you message her, hi, how is your Ewe wife? I will call her your Ewe wife. So you find peace in your heart to apologize. But she shouldn't look for closure. Men can be silly. Men. I'm not saying not all men. Not all men, but I'm saying men because they can be silly. But you never know which kind of man you are dealing with. So guard your heart. Tell yourself, develop your brain to the extent that you are well protected. It's not easy. Surround yourself with people who love you and care about you, and always seek refuge in them. But if you give your heart to certain men in this our country, I don't know about other countries because I haven't tried it.
Preach.
It can drive you insane.
But
Me,
I was
I've gone
listening
past
to-
that, but
I was listening to a podcast that was talking about how a lot of us are not trained to handle loss very well.
Yeah.
That's how come you see people, one little fall or failure in life, they want to commit suicide, they want to go mad, and all kinds of things. There's it's a whole mental issue that is not being resolved.
Yeah.
When your child is going through pain or loss or some sort of failure, sometimes it's good to allow people to sit in it and just
Cry.
live in that moment and grieve it out.
Yeah.
Because it toughens, it's everything, every emotion in our body is like a muscle. Whether it's love, hatred, all that. The more you feed it, the more you empower that muscle or toughen it. And I think sometimes as women or as human beings generally, we need to learn to toughen that muscle of loss as well. Because it's going to come in life throughout in many different ways. The loss of a husband, he could have been dead. You know, I was in a relationship that I couldn't just detach myself when the person was gone, and I needed to imagine him dead, just to get him out of my mind, or to go through that broken heart stage. And so that's something a lot of people don't realize, that you will lose friends, you will lose your parents, you will lose people in life. You just need to learn how to deal with it and toughen that muscle, that emotion in you.
So to quickly buttress on what they were saying, I grew up in a family whereby my dad was hardly ever there. He didn't treat my mom right. Cut a long story short, she died out of broken heart and pain. So I saw my mommy cry a lot of the time. And I said to myself, there was no way in heaven's name I was ever going to allow any man to treat me like that. So I was always one leg in, one leg out. You ask me out, and my mom used to say to me, I have nothing to give to you but the word of God and good education. Keep yourself, your body as the temple of God. Don't be at the wrong place with the wrong person doing the wrong things at the wrong time.
One last point, if you don't mind, AJ, is, you see, the spirit of discernment is also important, is also crucial in when you are studying someone.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we think, when I pray, everything should be all right. God is not going to drop it in your head like a manual.
Thank you.
You need to be observant. Sometimes all the traits and the red flags are there from the beginning of the relationship. But we ignore so many things to the point where it's boom in your face. Then we have the wake-up call. All of us have experienced one wake-up call or the other at some point in our lives before. But if you look back, if you go back into some of those relationships, you realize that there were small red flags. And that is where, when you are praying for the spirit of discernment, you also need to be observant, because the Bible says, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. So you could be praying for a million times, but if your eyes are not open and you are not using your brain, your brain that God gave you, it still comes back to square one.
And talking about prayer, the answer is not always yes.
Yes. I like that.
Yes.
And it can
I
be
like
maybe.
that.
Yes.
And it can be
Later. Yes.
And
I like
we always
that.
look for the yes. So as situation, the signs are clear, but because we are always waiting for the yes answer, we always focus praying to hear the yes. It could be God telling you no,
Leave.
wait, leave, no, not now. But we don't listen to those words. So that's what my takeaway.
And we need checklists as women. For me, when you ask me out, like I was saying, I'll say yes, but I have a checklist. You don't know I have a checklist. And when you give me sign 1, sign 2, like you want to come and me, you want to come and sleep with me, you want to, the number of people I broke up with, I will call you. I don't even have my time. Need time to even look at you face to face and tell you, it's not me. I give you a call. I will call you and say,
I don't even call you. I will ghost you. You won't reach me again.
Just so that you don't come to my house unannounced, or you don't wait. I will just call you and say, you know what? I don't think I can do this anymore. So it's about time that we as women, we know what we want. We have a checklist. We're praying. We're being cautious. We're opening our eyes. And to a lot of single women out there, I hope that this show has enlightened you. It's not just clear cut dry. Everybody has got different experiences, and the situation you may be presented with may be different. But there's one thing we all know for sure, which is to trust God and to open your eyes, to add wisdom to the decisions you're making, so that things don't get into a mess for you.
Absolutely. Now, getting into a few messages now, and I still can't get over the dada engine aspect, honestly. But Fatih Amanfo says, closure to move on. Train your heart to not care so much about things like this. Let me tell you this, you deserve better. One day, everything will make sense. Sayada Huda says, 2018 to 2022, you still haven't moved on. Nyakwa Abranoma says, are you not moving on until you get the closure you want? He's getting married and simply doesn't care about the closure you want so much. Jonathan says, it's clear it's not because of your tribe. Let it go. It is possible that per his assessment, he preferred the other lady. It's not because you're not good enough as a person, but just not what he wanted. Someone else will choose you over others. So please relax. Miss Two Known Pemka says, forget him. If he tells you his reason for breaking up with you, will it change anything? Just move on with your life. Justice says, but why do some of you ladies believe everything a guy tells you? Most people just use this tribal thing just to break up with you. The family may have no idea. You just use it as an excuse. Yao Mauli says, forget him, sis. You were not his plan. Accept it and move on. Adam says, he has fallen out and didn't want you to blame him. He only gave you that excuse, so you won't blame him. He just scammed you. Going for closure will open new wounds. Just leave it as it is. Elolo says, if he doesn't come up with a reasonable answer, remind him that schnapps is 50 Ghana and egg is 150%. Oh my God. Patty says, only God knows what else have done to other tribes in this country of mine. Charlotte A. Shirley says, men don't do closer. He has various reasons why he didn't want you as a life partner and mother of his children. Move on and look for other things until one suitable one comes for you. You are still looking in the past, which is useless at this point. Move on. Doji says, sis, you don't want closure from anyone who hurt you. If they indeed hurt you, their sorry won't heal you. Men break up with women for so many reasons. Some of them are just cowards. Move on, live your life, be happy. Love will find you again. Hannah says, he never loved you, he never loved you. Rather, it's not about your tribe. Please move on. Asiwome says, she should mention the guy's name and post on Facebook. He will come and answer. Shakur Issa says, wow, a very reasonable story and question to ask. Women always want to know the reason why men bounce them to other women, and they're always right on that. I would advise you to go ahead and face him with a pragmatic demeanor to ask him why he left you for another tribe. Sanguma says, it is not worth it. Put yourself together and move on. Truth will prevail. Rebecca says, go and ask for the reason he will deceive you and get you pregnant. Just move on. He's not worth it. Some disappointments are blessings in disguise. Your right guy will come for you. You are not meant for each other. Sika Mentor says, if he knows how sweet and sexy our ladies are, don't ask him anything. You will find true love, okay? Princess says, there's no need for closure. Allow him to deal with his own conscience. Parkwesi Mike says, it's not about your tribe, dear. He had his own plans. Anthony says, you need no closure. Just forget him. And these are some of the comments coming in from social media. Of course, send yours in as well with the hashtag sister and let us know your thoughts about this particular story. And on that note, ladies, always a pleasure. I think next time we need to do a bit of the checklist and find out what checklist are single ladies. And today I walked away with hashtag and then keep your bros. Don't drop your knickers. And for those that have dropped this, there's hope for us. I need them. Hope for them. Hope for them. We will pray for those that have dropped it. Those that have kept it on, we'll figure it out from there.
You know that a lot of people think, when someone breaks up with you or someone does you evil or something, that they are going to suffer in their lives. Sometimes they're not suffering well. They're just moved on. Need to move on.
Sometimes they go and live very happy life. And you just sit there thinking, you met you on the car, nothing. Sometimes you forget.
Their kids will grow and become fantastic things. You just need to move on.
On the banana present. On that note, we'll wrap it up with my take on today's stories. And wrapping it up with my thoughts for this evening, with the very first story about our lady who chooses to cook for her sister's husband all the time, to the annoyance of her own boyfriend. I think this gentleman needs to have an actual conversation with his girlfriend, explain to her the reason why he's so bothered about it. Allow her explain reasons why she feels so committed to want to cook for her sister and her husband all the time, and perhaps find a way where you can actually make this into a bonding session. Sometimes go with her to the home. If you can't spend time with her consistently because of this, then actually join in her activity and see if that might be able to bridge whatever distance you feel that may be growing within you. And of course, ensure that you are understanding enough to get her point of view when she does explain the reasons why she feels obligated to cook for her sister and her sister's husband. To our second story about this gentleman, or a lady who feels slighted because the man who was set to marry her cancelled the wedding because she was Ewe and has gone on to marry an Ewe woman. You want closure, I understand, but after many years of him choosing to move on to another woman, I don't think closure is any, or whatever apology he might give you that kind of closure you're looking for. At this particular point in time, you might actually be opening a whole new can of worms and opening up yourself to maybe be hurt again. Perhaps if there's some lingering feelings you may have about it, I think it's time that you move on. Close that chapter and move on to someone who you will not be an afterthought. You will not be an option that is worth chucking away, but rather you be his priority. So once you maybe move away from this unrequited love, at least in this situation, you might be opening yourself up for true love to find you. So let it go. Move on. Easier said than done, but try. And perhaps your true love might find you in that respect. And on that note, thank you all for being tuned in to Sister Sister, live on 97.3 Citi FM and as well on Citi TV. I look forward to bringing you another exciting edition next week. And of course, very big thank you to our sponsors, Kel Kids Toothpaste, Ghana AIDS Commission Red Ribbon Campaign, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand as well, Flory Roberts for our lovely makeup this evening. Of course, a very big thank you as well to LifeMate Furniture for allowing us shoot live from their premises and encouraging you to send in your stories to sistersisterislive@gmail.com if you have any issues that might be bothering you. And of course, tweet at us with the hashtag sistersister or tweet at me at AJ Sarpong. Until I come your way again, keep watching Citi TV and of course, have the wonderful evening. My name is AJ Sarpong. Good night.